Hi folks, welcome back to my channel. This is the Addicted Bookworm. Alright, okay, so, happy Sunday everybody. I decided, hey, it's early in the morning that I'm doing this video because it's like, I don't have to be at work today. So, I'm happy about that. Don't be wrong. don't be wrong. Don't be wrong, I love my job, but I do like my days off. Now, before I begin, I want to let you know that I'm going to be clearing my throat a lot in this video. And that's because I don't know what you call it, but I woke up at like 9:30 yesterday night. And I just, oh my god, I almost had to run to the bathroom. And when I talked to my doctor about it, she said that it is definitely a byproduct of the acid reflux. So, yeah, I don't eat spicy foods anymore. I actually made a mistake and ate some salsa that had a little bit of spice, and oh my lord, I paid for it big time. Anyways, so I got an announcement to make, for all my viewers. No, I'm not turning the channel off. Don't worry about that. But because after I pay my bills, I don't really have a ton of money left. And because I'm doing something called budgeting my money, I'm going to be leaving Kindle as far as like buying books, like getting books, getting audiobooks. I'm going to be getting my audiobooks from one of two sources. One, from Spotify, and if Spotify doesn't have it, Barnes & Noble. If not, I will just get the physical edition. Or I will just get the ebook version of that book instead of going on Audible and getting it knowing it's going to be there. And the reason that I'm abandoning Audible and abandoning Kindle is because I do not have the finances to be consistently like paying for a subscription, especially with a company that is not good. And I actually have a video I already did that I've already uploaded, but it's scheduled. So that's about the Audible thing and why, Anyways, so in about 5 days I get paid. But here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. I might be getting paid on a Friday, but it doesn't mean the money is not going to be in my bank account on Wednesday. Because when I worked for the post office, it was actually in every other Wednesday. So I knew that was what Fifth Third does. However, I don't know if that's going to be the same as for this one. So, might happen. If it happens, I will be paying $1.01, or $1 because Trump got rid of the penny, for 3 months free of Spotify. And they do actually have the second book in the Dungeon Crawling Carl series that you can only listen to it for 15 hours a month, which is only downside to it. But at least I'm not with, like, Audible. So what I will actually do is I will listen to a couple of chapters, a week, so that I can listen to the full thing and get the full experience. So, yeah. So here's the thing about Kindles, and this did not bother me because I had a job where I was paid every 2 weeks, and they were like sometimes like over $800, so I could pay my bills and still have money left over. That's why I was able to go to Barnes & Noble and get the books and everything like that. Now that I am in a job where I get paid every week, and I am not upset about this, I love the idea of being paid every week, I have to monitor my spending a lot closer. So one of the biggest things that Kindle, that Amazon likes to do is to get you to buy books that you're probably not interested in. And, it's like, it feeds into the FOMO, where you look at this book and go, oh, I gotta get this book because I may end up liking it. Nobody requests samples of books anymore. No one does. I do not understand that. I could turn this into a 45-minute rant about why I think it's stupid to not get a sample of the book, but I'm not going to do that. So, they're always constantly advertising, always constantly trying to get you to spend more and more of your money, because they can't legally take the money out of your account for the book. You have to give them permission to get that money out. So, as much as I like getting free Kindle books, I feel like that it's time for me to shift over to Nook. And for people that don't know, I have a Nook. Now, here's the thing. Before people comment, especially if you're new, I have had this Nook since April. So, it's not like, oh, I'm going out and buying a brand new e-reader. I already have this one. And I have been literally reading, I read plenty on Friday. I read, I didn't read any here yesterday, but I do plan to read today, because I want to finish A Shimmer of Magic, I'm almost done with that book. And also I started on a novellas. So, I actually have two Nooks. I have a Nook tablet, and what it is that it's manufactured by Lenovo. Lenovo paired up with Barnes & Noble to create a Nook tablet, which I will tell you, the cover art is beautiful. I love it. But I don't use it as much as I use this. I will use that if this is being recharged, which I will be using it tonight because I have to recharge it. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Just like with Kindle, Nooks advertise books. But here's the difference between the Nook and the Kindle as far as advertising. It will always be either books that are based on your preference, because you can set your preference with your Nook. You're like, oh, I want to read nothing but horror. Okay, you'll be recommended horror. Oh, I want to read fantasy and sci-fi. You'll be recommended fantasy and sci-fi. But there's only 3 or 4 books that are recommended. And you can't, I've tried it, but you cannot swipe to get more recommendations. That is not the nature of the Nook. The Nook, to me, is a superior e-reader, because it is always about what you are enjoying, the authors that you enjoy, not an author that you've never heard of before. That's a huge thing I love about the Nook. Now, I can go on the Barnes & Noble website, I can type up whatever author I'm reading, and it will tell me if there's more books. But with my Nook tablet, when I am done reading the book, it'll say complete on it, and then you kind of move it a little bit up, and then it will tell you what the next book in the series is. So you can automatically press it, pay for it, and it's off. It's on your tablet. It's on your reader. That is the huge thing I love about the Nook. They also have free reading weekend, which is something I'm definitely going to be taking advantage of a lot, especially when I get all of my books read. Every Friday, I'm going to hook my Nook up to my hotspot, and I'm going to check to see what is new to read for free for the weekend. And that will be the book that I will read during the weekend. They do have audiobooks on here. You can either sign up for their audiobook membership, which is nothing like Audible. However, they do offer credits, so that's the only thing that they're same of. Unlike Audible, I gotta warn people, the Barnes & Noble audiobook thing does not have every title in that was created. That is the preview of Audible. So, when I couldn't find the audiobook version of Dungeon Crawling Carl, they just have the books that were published by this publishing house. I went on Spotify, and I say that in that video, and I found them. So, yeah. Just like with Kindle, when you're finished with a book, it will basically, now Kindle says read, Nook says completed. And then of course, if you have more than one title, or you have like more than one title from the same author, it will either say completed because you have read all the books that was there, or it will have a little bar that says, yep, this is how much you gotta go. Ugh. I gotta take some of this. Ooh. Alright, so here's the thing. On my phone, I have my Amazon cart. What I am actually going to do is go on Barnes & Noble, take that cart, and this is going to be this week, and I'm going to pick up 4 books, 4 ebooks. Red Rising, the first 2 Murderbot Diaries, and the second book in the One trilogy by Nora Roberts. That is literally the only books I'm going to get. I'm putting about $30 on my gift card, on my digital gift card, and then once it's available, then I will add like Red Rising and the second book in the One and pay for it, and then I'm going to see how much money I have left. Now, here's the thing is, it's really simple to figure out how much money you have left. You just take what you put in and subtract it from what you spent. And voila, you find out what you got. If I have enough money, I will go ahead and pick up the Murderbot Diaries number 1, subtract it, and then Murderbot Diaries number 2, subtract it. Whatever I have left over is what I have left over. So that is what I'm going to do. That's definitely like what I'm going to do. So I am really excited about doing that. That is definitely going to be a lot of fun to be able to do. And the next week, if I see a book, like I say I complete the second book in the One series, and I want to get the third book, which if the second book is just as good as the first book was, then I will get the third book, and then I will just do the difference, from my gift card to the actual amount. So that's what I'm going to do. So a lot of people, they love Kindles because they love the Kindle Unlimited and all that. And don't get me wrong, I love Kindle Unlimited too. I love it. However, I just want to be more, I just want to be more aware of what I'm spending. My main goal is to get my Nook books down to 0. And the reason that I'm getting these books is because, first of all, I enjoyed the first book, the Nora Roberts book, but everybody's been talking about how great Red Rising is. It's a space opera. I want to read it. I want to enjoy it. And if I enjoy the book, then I will get the next book in the series on my Nook. Now, here's the thing. If I really, really love Red Rising, and I want to have as a physical edition, At the end of next month, I am going to go to Barnes & Noble and I am going to pick up Red Rising, pick up the second book in the series, and get physical copies of the Murderbot Diaries. Oh man. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to walk into Barnes & Noble, pick up 4 books. That's it. That's it. Or I am actually going to try, because I do want to pick up the Goodbye Cat and We'll Prescribe You a Cat. So 6 books. 6 books. So I won't need to get a cart or a little basket or anything like that, because I already know what I'm going to come in for. I'm going to come in for. I'm going to do that. But I'm going to get the second book in the Red Rising series, if I like the first, on Nook. So that way, when I'm at work, I can sit down, I can read it. I literally am so excited about leaving Kindle, and I'm not sorry I am leaving Kindle. I'm not. I had originally bought these Nooks to get away from Amazon, and as much as I possibly could, because I am an Amazon author. Now, what about the books that I have on here? Well, here's the thing. I still want to read these books. I still want to. But what I am going to actually do is I am going to go and I am going to actually take the books that I have on here that I want to read, and I'm actually going to purchase them for my Nook, and then I'm going to delete the book from my library. This will still allow me to read the book, but it's not going to be a Kindle edition, it's going to be a Nook edition. Another thing that I want to also state is, another big thing I like about the Nook is that I could walk into a Barnes & Noble bookstore. I got 2 of them that I can go to. I like the one with the cafe better than the other one. Sorry, CEO of Barnes & Noble, but I like my cafe better. And because I remember in April, it was my last full month at Five Guys, and I said, I don't even know if I'm ever going to become a permanent or a regular at the post office. And I know perfectly well that there's a good chance I probably will not get rehired from the job I got now. I'm going to go ahead and get a Nook e-reader, not a tablet, an e-reader, and I'm going to use that. Weirdly enough, I did not use it as much as I wanted to, which is why I'm changing that very quickly. This is going to be my primary e-reader, and this is where I'm going to read my fantasy, my science fiction, my horror, my young adult fiction, things like that. This is what I'm going to be using to read new releases, things like that. Another thing that I like about the Nook is that they give you the option of having free books, which is also another way to get you to get the second book, but still, I understand that. So they have like $1.99 deals. They have $2.99 and under deals. These deals quickly enable me to buy 10, 11, 12 ebooks for, say, the $30 I put on, on my e-card, gift card. And then of course, you can always, they can put stamps on your account, and therefore that's more money you can spend. So Barnes & Noble is a good value. They, unlike Kindle, they don't advertise. If you're offline, you're offline. All recommendations go away. You can just sit there and read it like you would read any other kind of e-reader. Also, it just feels like to me that despite the fact that they're just as guilty as Amazon, they're also a byproduct of Amazon's determination to become a full-on monopoly. They don't care if Barnes and Noble, which has been out in the world for a lot longer than they have, no longer exists, because they want to control ebook sales. They want to control where you buy books. So I got this Nook to stick a middle finger in Jeff Bezos' face. But here's really weird is I remember my decision to buy a Nook. It was the end of November, beginning of December, and I saw all these people that were going on strike because of what Amazon was doing. And I said, as much as I appreciate the fact that Amazon allowed me to publish my books, and I will always be grateful for that, and I'm still going to publish books through them, they're not friends with the common man. They don't care about the common man. And so I was looking at it like, I need to get an e-reader that does not pour money into Jeff Bezos' pocket. And I remember back 13, 14 years ago, I bought my first e-reader from Kmart. I know, that's weird. And it was a Nook. And I loved that thing. That thing went everywhere with me, and then unfortunately I had to sell it. So on Christmas, the day after Christmas, so Barnes & Noble had a sale on their e-readers to get people to buy one, which is always good. Always good. Always good. And I got paid on Christmas Eve. Unfortunately, I owed the bank money, so I had to wait. And then what happened was, the day after Christmas, I jumped into the car, into a lift, and I had the Lyft driver take me to Barnes & Noble. And I remember it was snowy. It was like there was snow coming down and everything. And I went in there, and I made a beeline for the e-readers. I didn't take a thing with me. No, I didn't. I went beeline right for the e-readers. And there it was. The Nook tablet, the Lenovo. It was so beautiful. I bought it with the 2-year warranty, with the case, all that type of stuff. And then, nearly 2 weeks after I bought it, it started acting up. And I'm like, there's a problem with the software, or there's a problem with the components inside or something. Got a hold of Barnes & Noble's customer service, told them what was going on, told them, all this stuff. And they're like, well, take it back to Barnes & Noble, and they will give you a new one because you have the receipt and you have the warranty. So long story short, went back there, got a new one. I remember setting it up in the store. I used my mobile hotspot to be able to do it. And after I got it set up, I went over there, got myself something to eat, and I spent a couple hours inside Barnes & Noble just sitting there reading, enjoying the music, and just having a wonderful time. And I had fun. I really did. I had a lot of fun just sitting there reading. And then I got a couple books and I left. Thankfully, this one didn't do it, but I do still have problem with the power button. I press it and it takes longer than 4 seconds for it to turn on. But once it turns on, I'm good. But yeah. So, anyways, I love my Nooks. I do. And switching, reading Nooks full time is not a problem for me. I will say one thing about it being difficult to turn on. I don't have to worry about it accidentally turning on, which is always going to be great. And I'm going to be reading this during my break. I will be reading it the next day, and on and on, and all that wonderful stuff. So anyways, I'm going to end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know some people will be like, why in the world are you decide not to buy books off of Kindle, and that is, first of all, I got like close to about 70 books on here, so I really want to get it down. And yeah, so if I get paid on Wednesday, you will not get a video with the ebooks that I got until Friday. Alright, I will see you guys around. Until next time, be well and keep on reading.